Thank you, Madam Chair, and thanks to our witnesses for joining us today. Today we're considering several critical pieces of legislation, including two of my bills. First, I'd like to highlight S.3596, a bill that makes a technical correction in the Mineral Leasing Act by correcting the use of the term gilsonite to its official scientific name, asphaltite. I know that's an issue near and dear to most Americans. They want to make sure we're using the scientific term. The overlap between the generic name and the patented name causes some undue legal ambiguity and in some circumstances can be problematic. The situation can be compared a little bit to using the term Velcro as the name of a company's product and as a general term instead of hook and loop fasteners. Foreign companies, particularly in Iran, have tended to exploit this ambiguity by labeling their chemically inferior product as generic gilsonite and then undercutting the market for the patented product, gilsonite. Correcting the name in the Mineral Leasing Act protects against trademark infringement and helps ensure that the quality of the asphaltite in the United States maintains a consistently high standard. This is a good governance bill, one that will help us get to the point where we can align the generic term asphaltite with the other generic mineral terms that are typically the ones used in the Mineral Leasing Act. Next, I'd like to turn to S.3198, the Historic Roadways Protection Act, a bill of profound importance to our Western heritage and the communities that rely on these historic routes. Revised Statute 2477, commonly known as RS 2477, was enacted as part of the Mining Act of 1866. And it granted the, quote, the right-of-way for the construction of highways over public lands not reserved for public uses, close quote. For over a century, this law facilitated the development of thousands of roads, providing vital connections across the West. In my home state of Utah alone, just Utah, we've got nearly 13,000 roads that were established under RS 2477, weaving a network that supports not just transportation, but also all forms of economic activity, essential access, and exploration of our remarkable landscapes. The Federal Land Policy Management Act, commonly known as FLPMA, repealed RS 2477 non-retroactively in 1976. I say non-retroactively because it preserved existing rights-of-way that were in existence as of the date of the repeal. However, FLPMA did not provide detailed procedures and mechanisms for proving and adjudicating or recording these rights, which led to prolonged litigation and challenges. This has been a lengthy and arduous process involving multiple lawsuits and significant delays, all while the integrity of these historic roadways continues to deteriorate. The Historic Roadways Protection Act, S.3148, safeguards these essential pathways until their legal status can be definitively adjudicated. It ensures that current conditions are maintained, preventing further closures and degradation by federal agencies that could irreparably harm our ability to validate the routes. The legislation is not just about preserving our historic roadways. It's about that, but it's also about maintaining the lifelines that connect our communities, that support our rural economies and grant access to the natural wonders of the West. I'd like to acknowledge the overwhelming support this bill has received from the community. My office has received over 700 individual statements of support for the bill, demonstrating the broad and deep appreciation for the value these historic roadways provide. I also request that these statements be entered into the record.
Without objection.
I also want to take a moment to introduce and thank Tess Davis, the Assistant Attorney General for the state of Utah, who's here to testify in support of the bill. Ms. Davis has been instrumental in overseeing Utah's very substantial, complex, and very necessary RS 2477 litigation efforts, and she brings invaluable expertise to this hearing. So we're grateful for her dedication and her insights and look forward to hearing from her today. The Historic Roadways Protection Act is vital to ensuring that our heritage and our infrastructure will be preserved for future generations. So I urge my colleagues to support this essential legislation, reinforcing our commitment to the communities and the landscapes that define the American West. Now, Senator Sullivan is unable to be here today to offer testimony, but he's asked that I convey his strong support for his legislation, S.3790, the Alaska Native Vietnam-era Veterans Allotment Extension. I'm sure that equates to a clever acronym. I haven't figured out what that is yet, but he can tell us, and the program that the bill would extend. Thank you.